All right. Baby, little baby, easy now. Help the house. Little baby. All right. Ain't nobody crying. I'll take you back. Ain't nobody worrying. I'll take you back. I'll take you back. Fly you the rain. I'll take you down. Oh, I'll take you back. I'll take you back. Listen now. I'm calling. Mercy. I'll take you back. Mercy. I'll take you back. I'll take you back. Oh, I'll take it. I'll take you back. Let me see the way. Oh, I'll take you back. Let me take you down. I'll take you back. Let me care. I'll take you back. Ain't no smiling faces. I'll take you back. I'm in here. Oh, it's great. I'll take you down. You got to let me. I'll take you. Take you. Take you over the head. I'll take you back. All right. I'll take you back. All right. I'll take you back. Oh, I'll take you back. Oh, yeah, I'll take you back. Oh, yeah, I'll take you back.
Good morning. This is There's a Place, and I want to take you there on 106.1 Praise FM Radio. And you are listening to this, and I'm here with the awesome Dr. Matthew L. Jones. Welcome.
Good morning. Good morning, America. Good morning, Baltimore. Good morning, D.C. and surrounding cities. It's a blessing to be able to come to you this morning. There is a place. You there. I want to take you there. That place is self-ownership, home ownership. This is a place that I know. This is a place that I grew up in. 2911, that God has a plan. And that plan that God has me, that he has fixed it so that he has given you a special gift. So what we are trying to do is to identify those special gifts that automatically the individuals in our churches and our communities have, and give support to those gifts and help those persons to develop their gifts, develop their talents, and develop their skills, and develop in their own business. Because we know that the strongest economic entity in our community is the church. And if we can combine the efforts of the church and the community with the businesses in the community, we know you can make it even stronger. So this is our intention. And I thank those individuals who have come to us already.
Yeah, it's been pretty
I thank them so much. I got a call from Turner Station, I believe. The lady said that this was revealed to her many years ago, where she attempted to try to do this. And this shows you that when the Lord has a plan to do something,
right,
it may not come when you try to make it the first time.
I agree.
But if it's God's plan, it will happen.
It will happen regardless.
If it's God's plan, it will happen.
Understood.
If it's not God's, there was a question that came up in the Bible. If it's God's plan to do this, then nothing can stop it. But if it's not God's plan, we don't have to worry about it.
That is correct.
So we want to encourage you that we want to cooperate and participate with the individuals that have called me from Turner Station that really want to be involved in developing this strategy or recreating. I think for them, recreating, because they said that they started trying to do this.
They were trying to do the same concept, right?
Same concept back in the
Okay.
50s, 60s, and 70s, or when it was, some time ago, they
To
said.
combine, to bring the business and the church together.
To develop and to strengthen the minority businesses in the community.
And the mentorship part of it as well, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
mentorship and individuals. I think they said Turner Station was a long black section, business section, a long time ago in this community.
And so they reached out to you because they want to be a part of this
movement. They want to be a part of it. And so we are with Reverend Maddox.
Yes, we are.
We thank God for his presence. We're going to talk about that a little later when we talk about some of the individuals. I did receive a call from Attorney Penny Hughes this week.
Oh, nice.
So we will kind of throw out.
She's going to be my new mentor. That's right. So we'll put it out there, right? I'm excited.
Attorney Penny Hughes.
Okay.
Who talked about resources, economic resources that are available that she could help these minority businesses to tap into and to give them those resources to help them to get started. She talked about that when she was on the show.
No, absolutely. Yeah. And so that's important. So anybody who hasn't listened in previous weeks, outside of us bringing the church, the businesses in the church together, especially businesses within the church, because that's the goal, to strengthen it. We also want to use the platform, the talk show as a platform to give free exposure and marketing to the minority businesses as well. And their only obligation is to be a part of the mentoring program.
Right. And to help them also to provide resources that they need. Remember, we got an international call.
Well, we did. That's right.
That's right. We got an international call that said that we would like to be involved in helping financing those minority businesses that you're talking about.
Absolutely.
And an amazing thing, we have been emphasizing that if we can strengthen the community economically, it will resolve the crime.
Definitely tap into resolving the crime.
We have noticed on some of our major television shows, they have now started talking about, I think they have gotten our word, they'll start talking about the method or the procedure or to use to reduce the crime should be to create economic resources for individuals in the community. So they are expressing this there. Matter of fact, we heard on one of the talk shows, there's a special program in New York that are doing this similar type of thing.
Oh, wow. Kudos to them.
Yeah, they are doing the similar type of thing. So they are attempting they were emphasizing on this particular show, and it happened to be on Fox, this show that I saw.
Nice.
I don't usually watch Fox, but
I was going to say nice. Yeah, okay. Touche.
I would happen to be watching it then, and they had this individual on the show who was emphasizing the way to deal with crime is not the approach that we are using. The way to deal with the crime and reduce the crime is to create more economic stability in the community.
Yeah, they need resources so that they're not committing crimes.
So if we can help the minority businesses and help individuals to have these skills to start their businesses, then this will definitely bring more economic power within the community.
Right. We want the businesses to help them incorporate the skills to learn the basic steps, how to build the business, and really just to start how to incorporate their business alone. We want to do all of that.
We're going to eventually start setting up the incorporation series where individuals who would like to start their business, like to be incorporated, we're going to have sections across the city where we will have computers and everything set up, and people can be incorporated right on site.
At our church partners.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right. That's why we have all of our pastors and our churches getting involved, because we need the locations. That's what we need. So we need to be able to use the church. That's what it's there for. It's for the community, and it's for us to engage in the community. So hopefully, we'll have more churches, like you said, not just the Baptist churches, any denomination outside of Baltimore, Washington, D.C. We want people to open up their doors to allow the community to come in so that we can build a community and combine the resources that the business owners within the churches have to offer.
And that those businesses in those communities know that the church is there for them.
I agree.
And they can be a whole lot stronger, they can do a whole lot better if they participate with those churches that are in their communities. If they step up, the churches are coming on, extending the invitation to them to come into their churches, come into their location. So if the churches are inviting them, it is upon them to respond to the church and go to those churches and talk with those pastors and allow them to become involved with those churches so they can also strengthen the churches economically, and by the same means, the church also can strengthen them. See, that's the whole key, if we can get them to understand the importance of being in and participating in the church. Matter of fact, I'm teaching evangelism this week.
Nice.
Evangelism.
I think I missed the class, but tell me about it a little bit.
Developing a culture of evangelism.
Okay.
In the church, a culture of evangelism. This means that the whole church is involved in evangelizing.
And when you say evangelism, because people ask me all the time, like, what do you mean? Like, who's evangelist? Who's not? Like, what do you mean by evangelism? Like,
it basically is an attempt to let the person know what Jesus Christ has done, and by them accepting what Christ has done and believing in what Christ has done, it provides a special knowledge and understanding for them to change their whole life experience. Not only change their whole life, it's give you a whole different. Paul put it this way: you become a new creation.
It's sort of like witnessing. Is it that sometimes people refer to as
it's
witnessing?
a witnessing.
Okay.
It's a witnessing program, but this evangelism, developing a culture of evangelism, it let them know that it is a responsibility of everyone who has been saved.
Understood. A responsibility. I like that.
Of
That's
everyone,
the key word.
Of everyone who has been saved. Now, not everyone who is a member of the church, because a lot of folks a member of the church have not been saved. If you have been saved, it's in your DNA to become an evangelist.
Nice. Okay.
It's in your DNA. We're not talking about the pastor. He's talking about every parishioner.
Every parishioner. I like that.
It's to share with individuals, help individuals, encourage them, because when it happens, you become a new creature. And it's not, and see, that new creation is give you a power that you didn't know that you had.
Yeah.
It gives you knowledge that you didn't know what you had. It gives you understanding that you didn't know that you had. And that means, what that mean? That means that you create many avenues of resources for you to enhance your life.
Pastor Maddox over here shaking his head agreeing. So this must be some law going on right here. No, this is a big deal. I'm motivated even just hearing you talk about it. I need to step my evangelism game up.
But
right?
See, I don't want to get too much into it, but see, once you are transformed like this,
yes,
he that believeth shall never die. So you are transformed into. In other words, you no longer know that you are able to say, "I'm not going to die."
Right.
I'm
my
not.
Spirit's going to live.
You have trained, so you can only die once, and this transformation kills the old self. So you die already.
Oh.
Therefore, you can't die again.
That's
why Jesus said, "He that liveth and believeth shall never die."
Shall never die.
See what I'm saying? But
that's made plain. I like that. So that's a big deal.
So when you approach life with the power, well, for you not afraid of death, because you know you go when you sit beside somebody and say, I found out that I will never die. The person want to know how can I accomplish that?
And that's what opens the door.
That's where you share
for evangelism.
And you transform people. So I encourage people to read the 5th chapter of the Gospel of St. Matthew, because Jesus tells you
the 5th chapter of Gospel
everything that you're supposed to be and how you're supposed to be and the attitude you're supposed to have. He tells you everything in that 5th chapter. Jesus, in this Sermon on the Mountain, they call it, everything that you're supposed to do and be after the transformation takes place. John tells you in the 3rd chapter that this is not something you take light. It's not just coming down the aisle and joining the church. John tells you it's a new birth. You must be born again. And you know the agony of carrying a child 9 months,
No, I know. Yes.
and being born. So
Absolutely.
this is a real rebirth. This is a real new creation. To be born again means that you have died and come back.
Right.
And you can't die but once.
Only once. That's it, right? But
Now
I
let's
love
get
about
back.
that what you're sharing. No, and I love that you just shared that about the evangelism class and about just the whole role, because that's the thing. Like the church, we want people to come on Sundays, but we need to incorporate more activities and open up our doors during the
One thing we
weekday
want to
and
emphasize:
mentorship.
evangelism is not activity.
No, I was going to say.
Okay, that's so.
It's not an activity. It's not
a-
programming. It's a whole new lifestyle that each individual is constantly sharing.
It's a part of your
Your
character,
DNA. It's the
your
whole.
DNA. Okay.
It's developing the culture, the evangelistic cultureism
Okay.
in the whole fellowship, where you are naturally evangelizing. Even the person, there are a lot of people sitting beside you have not received this power.
Understood.
They have become members of the Baptist Church. Let's deal with the Baptists.
Okay.
Baptists, but not Christians.
Yeah.
If you're a Christian, the transformation isn't taking place.
I agree.
You can't say I'm a Christian if the transformation haven't taken place.
Okay.
But you can say I'm a Baptist.
Right. If it has not.
That's the church that you worship at.
But if your lifestyle is evangelism and you're a business owner, that means that you are
you're
doing the right thing. Yeah, you're operating
on the principles by which
principles. Okay.
that is decent, supportive, and encouragement to the people that you're dealing with.
And spiritually sound. So that means you're going to encourage people that you're mentoring. You encourage people that you're sharing your business with. The witnessing and the evangelism part comes natural, but you're going to be doing right. What do we call it? Just business, like the right business, the right. You'll treat people fair. You'll practice fair. You'll do all of those things.
The amazing thing, the 5th chapter, 13th verse says that you are recognized. You are the salt of the earth. But it goes on to tell you that you are the light to the world. So if you're a Christian, then you're the salt of the earth and you are light to the world. So even if you're doing business, even in your business, people will recognize that this person is different from the folks that I've been dealing with.
Right.
His attitude, his disposition, and the way he acts, and the way he encourages, the way he's trying to help, the guidance he gives me. All of that.
Way to treat people. Yeah, I like that,
people.
Dr. Maddox. And that's important because those are the type of mentors that we want to our mentees. Right. Those are the people.
Once they get into the churches and the churches, see, this is not a new thought,
Yeah, I agree.
This is something that most of the pastors are teaching all the time. But we need more than the pastors. We are focusing on developing a culture of evangelism. The whole, the sheep's, the shepherds look over the sheep, but the chief produce sheep.
That is correct. Now, that's a great concept to give people to understand.
And if I could just add to the fact that it is biblical, because that's what Jesus did with his disciples. Before they first became disciples, he evangelized them. He witnessed to them. He went out and witnessed to the disciples. So after he witnessed to them, that's when they became a part of his ministry. He taught them during his ministry how to do so that when he went to the cross, eventually ascended to heaven, then after he was gone, the evangelism process could continue. That's how the church in Acts became real of what it is now, because they kept the work going. Jesus planted, and in planting in them the evangelism mode, they were the ones that took the church to a whole new realm in the book of Acts.
Nice. I hope everybody got that.
So you have to have an aim and a goal. Right?
Okay. An aim and a goal. I like that. I think that's important for all of our mentees and mentors. I mean, both ends.
Your method is teaching, right? I'll get into that.
Okay. No, and it's good. I think people should get these concepts because, I mean, when people are listening, they want to know, like, especially for the mentees, people that want to start businesses. And of course, we like to always stress that when we say mentees here, we're not talking at a particular age. We're not talking about young people.
Everybody.
We're talking about everybody. So when people are listening, like, it's important that they hear this because they need to know these are the people that are going to be teaching them, and the mentors and the business owners and the church leaders that we're going to have involved in this program. Like, this is what we're pouring into the people that we're mentoring, so to speak. So I think that's really important. And then so outside of that, we have a stage 2, right? So we have the first step and then stage 2.
Industrial arts, yeah.
That's it.
Putting industrial arts back into the school.
Mhm.
I suppose we're going to talk about that, emphasize that later on.
Yep.
How we want to involve the school system.
Absolutely.
And then secondly, the final stage is how we want to involve the major businesses, where we want to emphasize home ownership with employment.
That's
home
important.
ownership.
I always like to share stage 2 and stage 3, just
Yeah,
so people are
yeah.
listening, their minds can
We
start
have 3
creating some
stages.
jargon.
We want to, our power come with unifying the churches.
Okay.
And then the other stages, we would have the power to almost insist on they happen. We can't do it unless we are unified. We don't have the power as individuals. We must be unified as a Christian body. That's why I'm talking about being a Christian when I'm talking about evangelism, not being a Baptist or Methodist, because you can be a Baptist or Methodist without being a Christian. We can join the Baptist church and be on the Baptist church roll and have not yet become a Christian. And I'm going to explain the difference in just being joining the church,
right,
and becoming a Christian. That's 2 different things.
2 different things. Yeah, I agree. Now, I totally agree with that, because there's some people in the church, and I'm just like, okay, you're here, but not,
we're not here to criticize.
Right?
Anyone,
no, of course, and I get it.
We are here to let them know that there is a power in becoming a Christian.
No, I agree. And I think it's important for anybody who's listening as well, just for the simple fact that people have this preconceived notion that just because people go to church, that they're automatically right, saved, righteous, just, or sound, or that they have it. But that's not true. That's can be so far from the truth.
I'm saying they can be, see, the earliest religious leaders didn't understand that when Jesus was explained. Because Nicodemus was a leader of the church. And he came to Jesus, and Jesus said, look, you got to be born again. He must be. Wait a minute. How can I be born again when I'm old? Can I enter the second time? See, so it's not an embarrassment thing to think that you can be a member of the church. He was a leader of the church and not really understand the necessity to be a Christian. It's to be born again. And to be born again is not just a statement. It's a whole new creation of your life.
And I think, too, that when you talk about people being in church, people join church many times for the wrong reason. There can be emotional, happen to them that Sunday. There can be, we've often been told, where can you find a good husband? Where can you find a good wife? Right, in the church. People join at the time of need. Somebody might say, well, I need my lights turned on. They heard that the church would do that. They find out that you have to be a member. So various reasons, but as Pastor Jones said, born again is the key. Born again is transformation. Born again is change. Person have gone beyond just wanting to get something out of the church, but they yet still want to give something back to the church. And then they also, more important, they want to give something back to the kingdom, because they see what the kingdom has done for them. It saved them. It brought them out of their darkness and allowed them to see, Pastor said, the marvelous light. And so therefore, born again is the key to this whole situation. Just don't join the church to be joining it, but when you're born again, you want to give back because you've received something from it as well.
So we want to encourage those people. Let me follow up on it. We want to encourage those people who are coming for other reasons. Come on in. Because we want to teach the individuals who are sitting beside you how to evangelize you. So that's the whole thing. We're gonna let them come on in, and then it's gonna rub off on them. Because they're gonna be taught by people who are sitting in the pew with them. They're gonna discover that a culture of evangelism has taken place all over the church. And every person who is a Christian, who has been born again, who is sitting in the pew, going to be an evangelist. They're going to be bringing you into the power and helping you to recognize the power that is present for you if you be changed, if you become this new creation, if you become this new creature. When Paul became this, Paul said, before Paul said he had to kill this old man daily, right? This is what Paul's saying. He said, I'm sure that the voice of God speaking to Paul when he helped to put Stevens to death, right? God started speaking to him all along, but he couldn't hear God speaking because of that old man. He went and arrested those who were Christians, the early Christians. He went and arrested them, put them in jail and all that. I'm sure that God was speaking to him then because he could see the attitude and the disposition. Blessed are those who persecute you, so persecute the prophet. He was saying that this new person going to be nice to a person even who is persecuting him. And he said, and I know this affected Paul. And he couldn't help God. And eventually on the Damascus road, finally, his hearing came open. The hearing that came from the heart, not from the ear, came open. And he finally was able to hear God saying, Paul, why persecute thou me? God was speaking to him all along. He just couldn't hear until that moment. You understand?
No, I get it. Shucks, you're making me, I'm like, okay, maybe I need to come to the evangelism class because my ABC, I need a little more to that because I'm always like ABC, accept, believe, and confess. So I need more.
Though. Yeah. The difference is this is not an ABC.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm sitting here again and I'm gonna have to even play this show on YouTube and watch the show again because you guys gave some good doctrines right here. So this is a big deal. So again, okay, so for all of our listeners, you're listening to There Is a Place. We want to take you there on 106.1 Praise FM. We're going to listen to It's Time to Make a Change. Because we are the people that can do it.
And we want to emphasize that there is instruction going on this week. Many classes. You can call the church and find out what classes are available. Evangelism is just one of the many classes.
Just one of the many classes
that will be going on this week. It'll be on Virtue, on YouTube, on all of the entities that we broadcast on.
It's amazing.
And we encourage you to listen in.
Yeah, call the church. If you want to get the information, call the church, Concord Baptist Church, 410-367-1117, 410-367-1117. And we'll be right back after It's Time to Make a Change.
Time to make a change. Yeah. That means that it's time for us
and we'll be back with Dr. Maddox. Right back.
We'll be back with Dr. Maddox.
Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
Time to make a change.
I'm gonna keep it with mine, y'all know. Yo, Slim, can I take it like this? Here we go. Well, it's time to make that change. People of the world today are fading, never ups and downs. You better think about it or you won't be around. What we need is a little bit of love, sent by one from heaven up above. Take it from T, it's simple and plain. This ain't no game, you know what I'm saying? What? Yep. Time to make a change. Here we go. We are the people who can do it. Oh yeah. It's time to make a change. We are your people. We can do it. Yo, Mob, kick it one time. What is the world coming to? I know we can do it. Somebody ask me, what do we have to go through? That's the test of our faith. For we live this day to day. We don't know where, we don't know when. But it's time to start again. About that time. Oh, time to make the change. We are the people who can do it. It's about that time. It's Jesus is spreading mighty fast. It's earthquakes are moving through the land. It ain't nothing but a sign. Let it make up our mind. We're the people, we can do it. I know we can do it. Somebody ask me, what do we have to go through it? It's just a test of our faith. We just live this day by day. Don't know where, don't know where. But it's make the change. We are the people who can do it. It's time to make the change. We are your people. We can do it. Here we go. Well, it's time to make that change. People of the world today are fading. All of us have our See, it's simple and plain. This ain't no game. You know what I'm saying? It's about y'all. That's right. We are the people who can do it. Together to make that change. About that time. We are the people who can do it. We can do it. Here we go. About that time, y'all.
While listening to There is a Place, and we want to take you there. And you're listening to your co-host, Jamie Christon, and I'm here with the host of the show, Dr. Matthew L. Jones, and our awesome Dr. Maddox. We like to welcome you back. And welcome, everyone, and welcome, Dr. Maddox. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
You're Dr. Matthew's guest today, but you to first introduce yourself, tell our listeners, who you are and the name of your church, and if they wanted to find you, how could they find you?
My name is Gregory Maddox. I am a native of Pontiac, Michigan.
You're from Michigan?
I'm from Michigan.
Oh,
Born and raised in
okay.
Michigan.
Mhm.
And in the year of 1980, I came to a HBCU called Virginia Union University.
Nice. Okay.
In fact,
He's a union man.
Shout out to
union man.
HBCUs.
I had a class one summer, and the teacher was Matthew L. Jones.
Oh my God.
The religion
This
class.
is a surprise. Okay.
He taught me. I took his class. I'm a graduate of Virginia Union, double graduate. I graduated from undergrad and seminary.
Okay.
And once I came to Baltimore and pastored Faith Baptist Church, which I've been at for 26
I
years,
love Faith.
I was fortunate enough to receive a DMin degree from United Baptist College and Seminary. And so
That's awesome.
I have a lot of other training, had 3 pastorates. This is my third, pastored one. And it's really strange. I pastored a church in Southampton County. I don't know if you're familiar with Southampton County or
I'm
not.
not familiar.
Historically, Southampton County is the county. In fact, the church where I pastored, called Mars Hill, is the place near where Nat Turner was captured.
Okay, and I am familiar with that story. So nice. Okay, that gives me more perspective on it.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I pastored in Danville, Virginia. And in 1996, I came here to Baltimore.
Needed a little more city life. Okay, sounds
And
great.
he's an alpha, bro.
And my alpha.
Okay, touche.
I crossed the burning sands in 1991.
Nice. The burning sands. I love it. I love the burning sands. So that's awesome. So you came to Baltimore and you did your education. So you're from Michigan. You did your education in Virginia.
Mhm.
You came to Baltimore. And so since you've been here, like outside of pastoring in the church, like have you been involved in outside activities? I feel like I know you're part of the convention. So how did you kind of like move into like the transition from just pastoring into being pretty much a name that people know? Like people know you and people know you.
Well, our church is 130 years old and is known for its progressive ministry in East Baltimore, especially.
Where's it located? Faith Baptist Church. What's the exact address?
833 North Bond Street is right on the corner.
833 North Bond Street.
Yeah, on the corner of Ashland and Bond in East Baltimore, between Caroline and Broadway. I like to tell
I was about to say
people.
that's easier for me, right? I know how to get there, but I don't know the streets,
Yeah.
right? Okay, that's nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And so Faith is a historical church,
30 years old.
30 years. Okay.
Mhm.
And so that opened up when you started pastoring that church. So that opened up doors for you to get the exposure that you need, or did you just start working in the convention?
Start working in the community first.
Okay.
Established a relationship with John Hopkins, with the McLewis Gym, with other entities. Collaborated with various churches in our neighborhood, Zion Baptist, Israel Baptist, St. Paul Community. There's a collaboration of churches right near one another, United, Greater Gethsemane. All of us are within a 10 to 12 block radius. So we came together and formulated ministry, Bible Way Baptist
love
Church.
the way that
a lot
sounds.
of it, yeah.
So anybody that's listening, so that's important too, because people want to know that all the time. Like they're like, it's a church on this corner, and then it's a church right around the corner. And people always ask, like, I wonder, if those churches are connected. And in most cases, they really aren't. But
Right.
in this case, you guys have pretty much created like I want to call it like
A collaboration.
A collaboration, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's a big deal. And so with that collaboration, that's allowed you
level up or be on the same page when it comes to working in the community?
Exactly. If one is doing something, we will often refer persons who are in need of that particular thing that the other church is doing to that church. If we're doing something, they do the same for us. For example, if one church is giving out food baskets, food boxes one day, anybody comes to our church, we refer them to that church. And then if we have a COVID clinic, they will refer them to our church on the day we have it.
So you guys got like a little network going on.
Yeah. We do a lot of network in East Baltimore. Yeah.
Okay.
And this is a place that he is coming to participate with this mentoring program.
Yeah, so that's what I'm listening. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. So, but when you come along, you're bringing all of these other churches that you're partners
we have
with you.
discussed the possibility that that Faith Baptist Church become the headquarters on the east side for this mentoring program.
Okay, I like the way that
And
sounds.
we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the efforts that we had to put forth
I
in
definitely
order
want to
to
hear about
reach
that.
his parishioners and find out who is in his church, and who would like to become in business, and who want to be mentored, and method by which he can cooperate and lead all the other churches in his section there into
Absolutely.
working with
definitely
him.
Elaborate on that, Dr.
Yeah.
Maddox. Tell us a little more about
the thing about mentoring, as Pastor Jones and I discussed, mentoring is nothing new to the African American community. Mentoring has been done ever since the beginning of time, really, in the African villages before we came over to America.
That's right.
There were mentoring in African villages.
Okay.
Even in our community, there was a sense of neighborhood, and with the sense of neighborhood, there were strong men in the neighborhood. Perhaps a mother was single and had a child. The men would step in and mentor. That's how it was.
Stories like that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they would do that. So mentoring is nothing new. I think what Pastor Jones is trying to level, and that is provide business opportunities with mentoring. Provide a person who is not only in the business sector, but also will serve as a mentor to that person and allow them to be able to reach their fullest potential.
You got it. And I'm sure you guys have plenty of business owners within your church.
Sure.
I'm sure. I mean, you have leaders in general in your church. You have
Sure.
business owners. You
Sure.
have convention leaders. You have
Sure.
lots of leadership within the church. And so how have you guys, I'm curious, in the past, how have you guys been doing in regards to exposing the business owners in your church? Like, what methods have you guys been incorporating so far?
We have a thing in our church called the Faith Pages.
Oh, okay.
The Faith Pages.
Tell me a
and
little bit
that's
about
something
that.
that I want to bring to convention as well if I'm elected as the president.
Okay.
And that is, we have the Faith Pages, which is a booklet that allows persons in our church to subscribe to different businesses, entities in our church and outside.
Like a directory.
Exactly.
So okay.
It's like a yellow page.
Yeah,
but
I love
it
that.
consists of members of our church. Say, for example, if you need a dress sewn,
Okay.
you would refer to the Faith Pages.
The Faith Pages. I love
Or
it.
in another arena, you would refer to the convention pages, where they could look in and see if I wanted my grass cut. I'm 80 years old. I can't, of course I can't cut my grass anymore. So I'll look in those pages and see who could cut my grass, where are they located. I can call them. They have a relationship already with the convention or with Faith. And I call them, and then they come and they do the services that I asked them to do.
That's immaculate. That's already what we want to do on the next level. So
Yeah.
I think that bringing that to the table and already having that in motion is super important.
And that's a form of mentoring as well.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And see, the thing is too, that we are, and I certainly applaud Pastor Jones's vision and support it wholeheartedly, but also remember that in the mentoring aspect, even though it may not be a business mentoring, there still can be a mentoring.
That's right.
An older woman can mentor a younger woman.
That's
Agreed.
There don't have to be a business connection between the two. It could be just a mentoring piece.
No,
But I
absolutely.
certainly like what he's talking about, allowing the business sector to come together with the church and be a part of a collaborative effort that will help the youth in our city. When I was coming over here, not only the youth, but everybody.
Of course.
When
yeah.
I was coming over here, I passed two young men with squeegees. They were trying to make a
Daily.
living. I understand,
Mhm.
and I certainly understand that. But what would it be like if we could get a business and a church hand in hand to go out one day and recruit these young men
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and let them know that we've got something better for them to do other than hang out in the corner
I
and
agree.
try to collect money from people. And they get frustrated when folk wave them off.
Uh-huh.
Because Jeremiah 29:11 said that God has a special gift in that person.
That's my favorite scripture.
He have a special gift in that person.
And what
So,
scripture is that again? Jeremiah?
Jeremiah, for I know the
29,
plans
I know plan that I have.
that I have for
There you
you.
go.
So God already has put in him a plan,
Mhm.
but he have not identified because it's not he's not connected with the spiritual church. That plan have not come to his consciousness. He not have identified it. So what Pastor Maddox said, if you bring them into the church, but these people out there who are using the squeezers, bring them into the church,
Mhm.
and you may lead them to identify their gift that God has already given them.
Right.
And then the church can help them to develop that gift.
Mhm.
That makes me smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he's
Absolutely.
talking about. And that's
No.
Mhm.
And I love it. And you said something, and that was going to be like, I was going to move into
Mhm.
asking questions, about your campaign. And because you just
Okay.
mentioned that that's something,
Okay.
bringing the faith pages, taking it to the next level, which
Mhm.
means that what I'm taking from what you just shared is that you're talking about all the churches that are involved in the
Mhm.
convention
Mhm.
are going to pretty much, they'll start out in their church and they'll submit the directory
Mhm.
of business owners from their church
Mhm.
to the faith page. I mean, from
The
like just like
convention
to the
pages.
convention pages,
Mhm.
and then it's like we have the yellow pages for the National Baptist for the
United
Maryland State
United
But
Baptist.
here's a key to
Convention.
it too, Ms.
Okay.
Jessica, and that is
Uh-huh.
we're asking that not only would persons call and solicit the businesses, but the businesses give back too. The businesses give back
to the church,
to the church
community,
To the convention, whatever.
community,
people, help
and
develop
the
peoples.
and the convention.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what we're looking at.
I like
Churches, persons give back. If I'm a owner of a particular restaurant, somebody comes in. A lot of people come in from convention churches.
Mhm.
Why not give the convention back something, 10%, 5%, or a percentage?
Yeah, that
back to
goes
the
without being
convention.
said.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
important. And then like the same thing, like we have these pages for the convention, because I know I'm busy. So people call me, like even Dr. Jones, like I'll say,
Mhm.
Dr. Jones, you got any beds or any rooms? He's like,
Mhm.
no, I'm full and I'm booked.
Mhm.
But that exposes, so somebody like, or my cleaning business,
Mhm.
I'm booked and I'm busy
Mhm.
for the
There
next
you
month,
go.
but then there's somebody
There
else
you
in the
go.
directory that
There
you
you
can
go.
refer to. So
There
you
you
have
go.
options.
There
Like
you
I
go.
like the plethora of having
Yeah.
options. And so tell us what else do you plan to, first of all, tell
Well-
us what the role you're running for. Again, I don't want to announce it for you, but you are on the platform right now. You're a candidate to run for
President.
I
Right.
love that word,
Right.
president
There
of
are
the
United
state
Baptist.
United Baptist Missionary Convention of and its auxiliaries of the state of Maryland.
of the state of Maryland
Incorporated.
Let me
Incorporated.
say this: fountain of faith. Faith has always been a major foundation for the convention for years. When
That's
I
what I
came
know.
here,
Uh-huh.
several of the leaders of the women's auxiliary and stuff like that were in Faith Baptist Church that worked diligently with me and with other individuals, other presidents during that time, and also the Christian education program
Absolutely.
came out of faith.
Mhm.
That's where I would be, the
Strongly-
sunbeams, and then the next level, like
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
came from there. All
Yeah.
of the youth
So you're
activities.
familiar.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I was
Yeah.
always the winner of the dramatic reading
Okay,
contest at church because I did the
okay,
Judgment
go
Day by
ahead.
James Weldon Johnson.
Okay.
That was me for about 10 years. But no, real life faith has always been super important. You've already, that church has always breeded
Mhm.
leaders and
Mhm.
people who are very active
Mhm.
in the Christian community, and that's important. So tell us a little bit about what you, if you were selected as the president, tell us a little bit about what you're going to bring to the table
Well,
to the convention.
Some of the things we want to do, we're interested in surveying churches that are inactive. We've got quite a few churches in our convention that are inactive. We want to bring them back. That's the first. Our acronym for our campaign is Restore.
Restore. Okay.
Restore.
The
Okay.
first R means reclaim.
Reclaim.
And we want to reclaim those churches that are becoming active within our convention. We want to survey them, find out what was the reason why they got out, what can we do to help them come back in, but also provide for them a platform of interest that will allow them to come back in. We just don't want to pull them back in just to
Right.
be saying you're part. We want to see what brought them out, and we want we do to bring them back in,
to
and then
keep
we
them
want to
in.
keep them
Yes,
there.
I love it.
We also have, I'm gonna get my little book if you don't mind.
No, please do.
This is a
Share.
booklet
That's a
that we
very nice
passed
book.
out. Thank
Okay.
you. We want to do economic transparency and sovereignty.
Okay.
When Pastor Jones was president, our convention was at its height. Unfortunately, it's kind of down right now, not fully out,
Right.
you know.
And the
but-
pandemic didn't help, of course.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it
definitely
didn't.
didn't help.
We believe in economic transparency, being honest and truthful about where our resources are going, because members are giving their hard-earned monies.
Yes, they
And
are.
we want them to know where it's going, be able to account for every penny, every dime, every nickel, every dollar.
Transparency is key.
Exactly, transparency. We want to
Absolutely.
add some structure.
That's your S
Yeah,
for
that's-
restore, right?
right.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Structure.
Technology, you just said it.
I love it.
We have to be technologically savvy now because
Yes.
of the pandemic. We have to do things differently. We have to totally equip persons to be able to deal with the technological age.
Especially
in
our
which we're
older
in.
generation, like my
Exactly.
seniors and my elderly people that were in the church when the pandemic hit, like I carried a burden because I was just so concerned. Like they don't have smartphones. If they do, how do they know how
Right.
to use them? How do they go on
Right.
YouTube? How do they do these things? And
Right.
so technology is very important.
Right.
And if it's on a convention, a state level, that means that it'll trickle down into our communities
Exactly.
within the church.
Exactly. So we want to prepare a technological team that will assist
and teach.
and teach. Exactly. And
Nice.
teach
I love that.
persons. Just because you're 70 years old, you're not too old enough to
No,
learn
you're
about
not.
Zoom, Facebook, things like that. You
I
can be
agree.
taught. We want to be able to equip persons to be able to use those social media platforms, because we also realize that there are persons who may not be able to ever come back because of illness.
Yes.
Because of a
Absolutely.
different thing that's going on in their life. So we want to be able to put something in their hand or medium before them that they can have access to and feel a part of our convention
Makes
as
my
well.
heart feel good. And so what's the O for?
O is for opportunity.
Uh-huh.
We want to give persons opportunity. We want to, and as we just talked about, we've got a wealth of persons in our convention that can do a whole lot of things.
Okay.
We want to pull from them first before we go out in the community and grab somebody else.
That should be the thumb rule.
You know, we've got a lot of people who know about technology, about other things, businesses, things like that. We want to use them and give them an opportunity to help us. And maybe every now and then we go out and get somebody, but we've got a
They say
wealth.
everything you need is in the house
Exactly.
anyway. I like that.
That's
okay.
it. That's
and,
it.
and the R's for what's that?
Pastor Jones just talked about reach.
Reach.
You
Okay.
know, we want to reach out. We want to be able to do the evangelism things that he talked about. We want to be able to tap into the resources that will help bring persons into our churches.
Absolutely.
So that's and then the engagement, of course, is just the going out and doing what we need to do. So
That's it.
That's
it's restore,
Yeah.
reclaim, economic transparency and sovereignty, structure, technology, opportunity, reach, and engagement.
That's it.
And that'll fit right into our economic mentor program, our mentoring of small businesses, mentoring community individuals, and mentoring folks who are in the church who want to start a business. You know, we must give this guidance, this instruction, this help, this restoring.
Okay.
We can restore our community.
Absolutely.
We can, and it's time for us to focus on restoring our community rather than depending on outside sources to do it.
I agree. So
we can do it ourselves if we pull together and work together.
I agree. So if President Maddox, I'm sorry,
no,
sorry, Pastor, I'm sorry, I got
it
right. I'm sorry. I was trying to get it out. If Pastor Maddox takes the role of presidency, that means that our program is going to be incorporated into the convention. So that means I'm excited.
Yes. and might I say this too, Ms. Jessica, and that is, we want to be a state convention.
Absolutely.
We want to reach all the state. Right now, our convention is pretty much, and Pastor Jones expanded it somewhat. We want to be in the eastern, the western, the southern.
Right.
central. We want to be a convention that meets the needs of all
From here to the Eastern Shore,
churches.
from
There
all
you go.
over.
They're all over.
I love the
all over.
concept.
And that's what
Okay.
we're
And
up
so what's
around DC and
Yeah,
out
yeah.
towards
They're all that.
all the way up
All that.
okay? And so
Hagerstown. I mean, I remember visiting the churches in Hagerstown.
okay, and
Yeah.
so it'll be incorporated into the convention as a whole, right?
Right.
And so if somebody wanted to look up your campaign or look up more information about you, we're going to send them to www.maddoxforpresident.weebly.com. And so Maddox is MADDOX for FOR president, PRESIDENT dot
Mhm.
WEEBLY.com, right?
Yes, and
That's
we've
it.
chosen to not run with a ticket, but run with other young men who wants to see the same
Team.
thing happen.
Yeah, let's give them a shout out
We
real
call it
quick.
a
Let's
team.
talk about your team quickly. Yeah,
Pastor Rodney Morton from Central Baptist,
nice.
who's running for that. Pastor Frank Hines of Community Baptist Church in Jessup, he's running for second. Pastor Jamal Foster, who is a son of Pastor Jones, who's running for third vice president.
Nice.
Pastor Quentin Herbert, who's running for treasurer. Pastor Herbert is also
I'm familiar with his
one
name.
of the I think he's the chief financial officer for the city of Baltimore.
That's why I know his name, because
That's
we
why.
work together. I work for the
Right,
mayor, and
right,
he's my guy in the
right,
city. Nice.
right.
We're on
There you
emails
go.
together.
There you go.
Okay,
He's the
there you go.
pastor of New Pilgrim
Uh-huh.
Baptist Church in the city,
Okay.
about 2 blocks from Faith.
Nice. Okay.
Okay.
I didn't
And
know
then
that.
Pastor Burrow Whipple, who is the pastor of Mount Hebron, the historic Mount Hebron Baptist Church on North Avenue across from Coppin. He's running for executive secretary.
Nice.
So
And so
we
what's
put
next
together.
steps? That's a great team. And so what are the next steps with the convention? Because I know we're getting ready to close up, but I want people to know, like, what's the next steps?
Next step, in less than 3 weeks, we will have our annual session
Okay.
beginning the 15th, which is a Sunday,
Okay.
with our Generation Now People's Department, Youth and Young Adult Department having their night. Monday night we'll have a session. Tuesday night we'll have a session as well.
Okay.
Our annual session, I should say. And then on Wednesday night, all day.
Vote. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
Wednesday's the voting day, and what
18th.
date is
On
that? The
Wednesday,
18th.
18th.
May the
May
18th.
18th,
And what's
yes.
the location? It's going to be
Perkins Square Baptist
Perkins
Church,
Square Baptist Church.
2500 Edmondson Avenue.
2500 Edmondson Avenue. So you guys heard it first here. And again, we had Pastor Maddox. I'm sorry, I want to give the first name too. Pastor Gregory Maddox of the Faith Baptist Church, who's running for president of UBMC. And so we thank you again for coming on today. If you've been listening, you've heard some good information from evangelism to mentorship to this president campaign that we have going on. And we thank you all for listening to There's a Place, and we want to take you there. You've been listening to 106.1 Praise FM with Dr. Matthew L. Jones and me, your co-host, Jamie Christon. Thank you.
And we thank Maddox for coming to us
We
today.
appreciate you.
He is a well-prepared, well-trained. He has to be well-trained. He said he took one of my classes.
Obviously, yes, I agree.
Also, he's a union man. So
Okay.
he has to be. So he has a lot of exposure. He have a lot of exposure. He knows a whole lot. He's been a lot of places. He came out of Michigan.
Okay.
So he brings a whole lot. He brings a whole lot
I'm
to the
excited,
convention.
and I have my
Brings a whole lot to
paraphernalia,
us.
what
He
I
brings
need.
a whole lot to the church.
Uh-huh.
And he has provided much for us today, as we have shared. We will continue to share with him. We asking him to head up the east side for
our location, our headquarters.
Headquarters for the
Yes.
east side.
Uh-huh.
There's a place. And we will continue to talk about that
Yeah.
in our program the rest of the year.
Also, maybe he'll be coming back.
Yeah,
too.
he will be coming back
after this.
He will be
campaign's
coming
over.
back to share with us the individual businesses, so we can talk about the businesses in his church. We want to promote his businesses in his church and promote the mentoring program that they are doing on the east side. We want to continue to talk about that.
Absolutely.
I don't hear
but
the music yet, but it should be.
It's getting ready to come on. But if you want any more information from the show, please call Concord Baptist Church 410-367-1117, 410-367-1117. And we're located at 5204 Liberty Heights Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21200. Again, that's 5204 Liberty Heights Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21207, Concord Baptist Church. And we thank Baltimore and America for listening today.
There is a place, and we'll take you there. There is a
Thanks,
place,
Pastor
and we will
Maddox.
take
Woo-hoo. It's okay. Hey,
There is
in
a place.
radio, I
There
mean, as long as they know you're talking to me, right?
There's a
There you
place.
go.
There is a place.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Wonderful job. Wonderful job. You got 3 more seconds there on you. They never hit the phone. They really never hit